The knock came 3 hours after we left her wedding, soft, hesitant, like guilt pretending to sound polite. I didn't move. Neither did my husband. The kids were asleep upstairs. They didn't know they'd been humiliated that afternoon, that their aunt, my stepsister, had actually paid someone to keep them out of the wedding I funded. I stared at the front door, watching a shadow shift behind the frosted glass. They were here, just like her new father-in-law said they'd be. And for the first time in years, I felt calm. It had all started 2 years earlier when our dad passed away. She was the golden child, the miracle from his second marriage. I was a reminder of his first. Still, I tried. When she got engaged, I offered to pay for the wedding, partly because I could, but mostly because I thought it might fix something between us. Heal the quiet competition our parents had planted. I covered everything, the venue, the catering, even her designer gown. She promised I'd sit in the front row next to Mom. She said my kids could walk down the aisle with her flower girls. That promise lasted right up until her fiance's family showed up. I should have known something was off when she stopped answering my calls. Then came the excuses. The planners are handling it, the seating's full. You'll understand when you see it. And I did understand, till late. The morning of the wedding, my kids' names weren't on the list. The guard at the entrance held a printed sheet, with their school photos stapled next to a note written in red marker, "Do not admit." He looked embarrassed when he said, "I'm sorry, ma'am." Orders from the bride, my daughter's hand slipped into mine. She didn't cry. I did, but only on the inside. So I smiled, turned the car around, and drove away. No scene, no words, just silence thick enough to taste. 2 hours later, the phone rang. Unknown number. A man's voice, deep and steady. "This is Thomas Weller. I'm Laura's father-in-law." I froze. I'd never spoken to him before. He continued, "I wanted you to hear this from me. The wedding is off." I didn't say a word. His tone turned sharp, cold. "We just found out what your sister did. She told guests your children were disruptive, that you were unstable. She even forged my wife's signature on a venue contract. She's finished. They're on their way to your house to beg. Don't answer the door." Then he hung up. For the first time all day, I smiled. Not out of spite, out of recognition. I hadn't planned revenge, but it had found me anyway, quietly, efficiently, without me lifting a finger. Still, fate could use a little help. So I poured myself a drink, opened my laptop, and started forwarding emails, invoices I'd paid under her name, contracts she'd signed with my company's account, receipts proving she'd used my business card for her honeymoon flights. I sent them to Weller, to the venue, and finally to the tax office. One click each, surgical, precise, when the knock came. I already knew what was happening across town. The caterers had canceled. The guests were sent home. Her groom's family had frozen their joint account, and she was standing on my porch, mascara streaking down her face, clutching the bouquet she never got to throw. "Please," she said through the door, her voice cracked and shaking. I didn't mean for it to go that far. I just wanted one day that was mine. I leaned against the wall, listening. My husband watched me, waiting to see what I'd do. "I understand," I whispered, too softly for her to hear. Then I walked away. By morning, every wedding photo she posted was gone. Her fiancé unfollowed her. Her mother-in-law changed her number. The story spread fast. Small town, big gossip. Everyone knew she banned her niece and nephew from the wedding their mother paid for. But that wasn't what destroyed her. It was everything that came after. When the venue sued her for breach of contract. When her credit card got declined. When her name appeared on a public lien notice for financial fraud. She called me once after that. Left a voicemail. "I just want to talk," she said. "You're my sister." I never called back. Sometimes I still replay that knock in my mind, the desperation in it. The way she whispered my name like it could still open doors for her. Maybe once it could have. But that day, she taught me something about myself. How quiet revenge can be. How it doesn't need shouting or spectacle, just timing and silence. I kept both. And as for her wedding, it never really ended. It just stopped right at my door.